welcome to today's episode of the Balanced Approach podcast. I'm your host, Louis Padian. I hope that you're doing well and are enjoying the podcast and the topics we've covered so far. These podcasts are released every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, so be sure to subscribe wherever you are listening to be kept up to date.
So today is more of a self-indulgent episode, but I thought it'd be important to share a bit more about me and my goals now I am back. So if you're new to the podcast, welcome. But also, if you didn't know, I've been away for about 8 months, traveling Southeast Asia, and really enjoying that aspect. But now I'm back. Obviously, whilst we were away, I've planned some things that I want to do when I got back, and I thought I might share them with you. And there's different reasons why I'm doing that, but a big part of it is I just want to let you know a bit more about me, but there's actually some research behind it which we're going to go into in a second. So goal setting is something that I'm really passionate about, and you might think that it's one of these boring things, but actually there's some really good evidence to support the benefits of setting goals. So things like increased focus and clarity. So a 2015 study found that individuals who set specific and measurable goals, so using that SMART structure, found that they had greater focus, high motivation, high achievement compared to those without goals. So again, it's making you more likely to achieve what you're setting out. Just having that clarity and that focus and that motivation, just make sure that you're more likely to achieve them. Enhanced motivation and persistence. So again, increased motivation and persistence even when facing obstacles. So things will happen. And this was from a 2001 study. And it's about you understanding that things won't go to plan and things will pop up and you won't be able to do everything that you commit to within your plan. But having that motivation and being more persistent because you've set goals will help you work a way around them. And that's why I'm a big fan of the SMART and GROW model together, that specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and time-based, but then also using your goals, your reality of where you are currently, obstacles and opportunities, and then ways to work around them. Once you've gone through those processes, you can have really robust and really impactful goals to move forward with. And a big one, as I'm health and wellbeing coach, nutritionist, personal trainer, an online coach as well, that work with people to get them healthier and improve their overall well-being. Having goals leads to improved well-being and self-confidence. So a 2011 study found that achieving personal goals contributed to increased self-confidence, self-esteem, overall well-being. And those are all things that we want people to improve, because that's just going to have a snowball effect with them moving forward. So having goals, having dates in the calendar, things that you're trying to achieve in all aspects of life will give you something to aim for. But once you're achieving them or moving towards them, you build in confidence, you feel more self-confident, you improve your self-esteem, and that has a ripple effect into your overall well-being. So that's why goals are really important. I've done episodes on previous episodes. I've done episodes on goals in previous episodes. I think it was episode 11. That was really in-depth, and hopefully will walk you through a step-by-step process on how to do that. But why share them? And there's a lot of research around the importance of sharing goals. So it helps with accountability. So a 2013 study highlighted the power of social accountability, and that is just your peers and feeling accountable to them. People who shared their weight loss goals with families and friends were more likely to achieve them compared to those who kept them private. And again, it's just me sharing with you holds me accountable, and hopefully by leading by example with myself and one of my clients I always speak with, it's around, she really values that I walk the walk as well as talk the talk, that not only do I help her with becoming healthier, improving her activity, getting stronger and improving her diet, but I try to share that I do these things and I know the benefits around them. I don't tell her to do them because I do them. I tell her to do them or help her achieve them, and we sort of settle on them because the research suggests that they're really helpful things to do. But I also do them myself. So same with this, sharing my goals. I thought it'd be a really useful practice for me to go, right, actually, I tell people to share their goals all the time. Actually, I should be sharing mine. So accountability. Next up is enhanced motivation and inspiration. So sharing goals with like-minded individuals, which I hope I'm doing here, can foster a sense of community and camaraderie. And we see this a lot of time in social communities where people are in gyms and things like that, or people are training for events, they're going for runs, and people really are inspired and motivated by the people that they're working with, and it helps them keep accountable, definitely. So that leads to increased enjoyment in the process, which is often the hardest thing to do, is turning up day to day, week to week, month to month before an event or before your goal, and fosters that enjoyment of enjoying the process, improves people's motivation, increases their adherence to their fitness and well-being goals. And those three areas are often what people really struggle with, especially if they're trying to do it by themselves. So trying to make the process as enjoyable as possible. People struggle with motivation all the time, and making sure that we're more accountable and helping with that adherence to the process as well, which is really useful. And last but not least, increased focus and clarity. So me articulating my goals here, and even as I'm recording this episode, I'll probably think about things, actually, maybe I should be doing this, and actually I can add this in here or something else to do. But actually you're actually helping me articulate my goals today. So thank you very much for that. But helps me refine them, helps me feel more clear on them. So 2016 study showed that verbalizing your goals can enhance your commitment to them and increase the likelihood of achieving them. So putting your goals into words makes them more tangible and real. And these are things that I've been committed to. Some of these are things that I've had in the diary for the last month or two, but me speaking about them publicly, again, just helps me go, right, this is real now. Just going to make sure I'm committing to these because I don't want to look silly in front of everyone. Obviously, there'll be things that come up and maybe we have to be flexible with some of these goals, and we'll definitely have to be flexible with at least a few of them along this journey. Probably making it more likely for me to achieve them because I'm extra motivated because I've shared it with everyone. And again, fostering that community. Hopefully people might reach out going, I'm running that race too, or I'm doing that, I'm really struggling with this. And again, me being more open and vulnerable, which is not an easy thing to do, will hopefully help other people on this journey as well by sharing my experience, my journey. So quick whiz round of some of my goals. So when we speak about goals for this year, some of them will be SMART. Well, we spoke about SMART, they should be SMART. Some of them will be process goals, some of them will be outcome goals, some of them might be a bit of both. I'll be having a look at the actual goal itself, the reality of where I am now, obstacles potentially on the way, and opportunities to work around them. So again, as I've said, episode 11, if you want to go a bit more into depth of how to set your own goals. So currently, for those of you who don't know, I think it was during lockdown, so 2019, 2020, I got into running. As someone who didn't enjoy running in the past, I was a professional rugby player for a couple of years and knocked around professionally and then semi-professionally for a couple of years more. And it was one of the things that I didn't really enjoy doing. I didn't really understand. It was just something that was necessary for me to be able to play rugby. So after I finished playing, I found running one of the things that was a bit more difficult to get to grips with because I used to be super fit, not as fit anymore, and it was always really hard anyway. So during the lockdown period, because the gyms were shut and I'd really enjoyed going to the gym, I got into running. And I think during the first lockdown, well, during the second, I sort of committed to a plan and ended up getting to run a half marathon on one of the days during my runs. So really got into the actual process of it, understanding about different intensities, different bits of equipment, the nutrition and fueling strategies, which I'd learned about at uni, fueling strategies, and putting them into practice myself. So since then, I've ran a couple of 10Ks, I've ran a cross-country run, I ran a 12K while I was away. So whilst we were away in Vietnam, I ran the Halong Bay 10K, which was great fun. The problem is with Southeast Asia that because it's so warm, the races start really early. So I think that one started around 5 a.m. in the morning, which was a beautiful run, really, really good atmosphere. And if you're not too sure about running or you're into running and feel nervous about races, I'd recommend signing up to them because they're really, really great days. They're great atmosphere and people are just great in the running community in general. So yes, 100% recommend. And then also minus a bit of missed training in Sri Lanka over Christmas for the month because it was really difficult to find anywhere to train and run for a race in early January. I ran 12K race in Cebu in the Philippines, again, which started 4:30 in the morning. With very little training, I was very surprised I actually finished it and managed to get it all done in one go. So I've got some more races coming up this year. I've got a really tricky race in June, which is the half marathon in the Peak District, which I'm excited for, but also very nervous about because I'll explain why in a second. And then also there's a shorter race in the run up to that, which is more of a cross-country run. I think it's about 10K in May. So I've got those things that I'm working towards and I'm following some plans at the moment. One of the obstacles at the moment, which is another one, is getting back fit from a calf injury. It's nothing too serious, but it's one of those things that if I don't address now could scupper the run in the summer, which I'm really looking forward to, but also make the time between pretty miserable. So just give you a bit of background, like I said, ran a 10K, I think it was November, in Halon Bay, beautiful. Carried on training just after that because we'd done about a 10 or an 8 week block before that. So I had a couple of days off and started sort of building up for a plan for Cebu. And then we flew to Sri Lanka for a month, and there was no real gyms locally. There was no treadmills. The roads really weren't safe to run on. There was no places to run that were flat or good stretches and things like that. So really, really struggled. My partner, she got dengue for a week or so, and also trying to enjoy ourselves. We were with my girlfriend's family over Christmas, so we're trying to make sure that they had a great time. All of our first time in Sri Lanka, did some amazing things. So training took up a back seat. So when we landed in the Philippines, about 10 days before the race, maybe a bit longer, I managed to get 3 or 4 runs in before this 12K run. So over the course of a month, I probably got 2 or 3 sessions in. Nothing really substantial. So started running while we were in Cebu. Again, really hot, really humid in a tropical climate. Roads weren't great still, but I managed to get some runs in. Probably got about 4 or 5 runs in just before the race in the 2 weeks prior to it, trying to get some time on my feet and hope for the best, as we already signed up for this race. Went to Cebu, wasn't too sure whether I was even going to make it on the day. Still apprehensive about it, but gave it a good go. Fresh set of trainers, which again, wouldn't recommend, but they actually worked really well, but it was quite a risky move. I managed to get through it. It was a really hilly course over one of their massive two of their massive bridges, and really early in the morning. Didn't have a great night's sleep. Loads of things didn't really line up that actually, that's why I was so surprised I finished. Anyway, proceeding that, really, really happy with recovery from that. Started running again, signed up to another plan just for 8 weeks to try and get fitter. So some more bodyweight work and things like that. And unfortunately, like my legs have especially my right calf, just hasn't felt right, felt quite tight, bit weak, maybe too much too soon, changing footwear, things like that. So over the last 3 weeks, I've been training, going out for some runs, been fine. Other runs haven't been great, been warming up, been massaging each day. And that's still hanging around. So I've actually yesterday committed to, because it sort of felt sharp pain in it while I was running again and didn't really go away. Changed my plan to go on sort of a rehab running plan for the next 6 to 8 weeks. So my main focus at the moment is to get back fit from calf niggle, and then try and make sure that I get into a good training block before the run in June. So haven't got heaps amount of time for that, but hopefully going to try and plot out today and it should be okay, I'm hoping. So really dialing back the mileage, dialing back the time on my feet, working on strengthening it, looking at the mobility and making sure it's recovering. So that's my sort of thing at the moment. Next one, which I haven't started yet, but I'm just looking at it now and I've got my planner looking at me, and it's been more consistent with my journaling. I went through a real good period about 1.5 years ago where I got a journal and a diary that I really got on with, that helped me focus on my gratitude each day, things that went well, focus on my goals and processes that I was going to commit to, and habits and behaviours. Weekly reviews, monthly reviews, fantastic. And that's one of the things that I'll be talking about in the next few episodes around journaling. And a huge part of it is very individual on finding the right journal for you. Same with exercise, same with nutrition. It's not a one size fits all. There's not a definite way to do it. There's certain things that we're trying to achieve, but with each individual, try and work with them. And one of the things that I've found is that actually having that there can be really useful, but it's trying to find the right circumstance, the right routine and the right journal for me. So I'm trying to try and get back into that, being consistent with my journaling, trying to aim for most days, if not every day, as I know it helps with my clarity and also accountability to myself. One of the things on the list that you might think is a bit unusual is weight loss. So just before we went away last year, it was the Christmas before that, I had been training, been running, and really, really struggled with my back injury that I've been having for years and years. But usually it went away in a couple of weeks. So usually it would go, have a couple of days or a week or so rest, pardon me, and then increase my level of activity, focus on core work, focus on mobility. But last year it just didn't seem to go away. With that, decreased motivation to move, just feeling really low, wasn't able to train. Getting in and out of the car was probably one of the worst things for it. So just trying to get to the gym was actually causing a lot of pain. And I was just miserable. And with that, I gained weight. And that was just part of the process for me, is that I was less active. I was probably looking for comfort. I was comfort eating a lot more. And when I left for Asia, still packed quite a lot of pain medication, anti-inflammatories and pain relief because it still wasn't right. Fortunately, whilst I was away, maybe less stress played a part, maybe it's just some time away, different environment, I found that it started to improve, and I started to understand more about why it was painful, what the actual issues were, how to work around it, and which has led me back to being able to run again. We did a mountain hike and things like that. We did kayaking, things that I wouldn't have been able to do without my back getting a lot better. So touch wood, my back's in a decent place right now. Running's okay on it. There's still a few, every now and then it'll sort of like twinge a little bit, but just understanding what that is, understanding what I need to do daily to manage that. But with that, I have lost weight since I've been away. Funny enough, people always say when you go through Asia, because of the richness of the food, a lot of it's fried and just amazing cuisine, that the various amazing cuisines available over there, people often gain weight, and actually I've probably lost about a stone since I left. So continuing that, being a bit more accountable, a bit more consistent with my nutrition, backtracking calories, all these good things that I know are going to help me and align with my ability to run by making myself a bit lighter, because I am carrying an extra couple of kilos. So I've got certain weight loss goals and looking at how I'm going to achieve that. Again, running, walking, those are going to play a big part of it. Sleep's going to play a big part of it as well, making sure I'm getting a good amount of sleep in. But also looking at my diet, increasing my fruits and veg in there, monitoring my calories and making sure that I'm getting enough protein in my diet, make sure I've got good diversity in my food, make sure that I'm opting for whole grains, hydration, all these things will align with hopefully losing weight, which will have a benefit to my overall health and well-being, hopefully, and also my performance when I'm running as well. And then one of the other ones that I sort of came up with was connect with more friends. I'm not great getting back to people, and this is one of the things that I really, really struggle with. And if you're listening to this and you think, yeah, I can agree because you never get back to me, I'm really sorry. I don't mean it. I just let things pile up, or I don't speak to people for ages. I tend to sort of drift in and out of social media, and I find it really difficult to stay connected to friends and family. So trying to get more consistent with that, having catch-ups with friends more often, face-to-face, virtual, whatever I can, and just increasing my social interactions, which I think is definitely going to help with my overall health and well-being. So important things to focus on are the processes, that they align with the outcome, but also being persistent with my goal, but flexible in my approach, that if my calf doesn't improve, then potentially you might have to manage expectations for the run. You might have to drop one or two of them, but in trying to be as persistent as we can with what we're trying to achieve with those outcomes and with our processes each day, but understand that probably things will crop up, things might change. Life happens in and around this. So whilst I'm sharing all my goals with you, hopefully I achieve them all. Hopefully I achieve all the processes and outcomes that I'm sort of committing to. But likelihood is that maybe one or two things will crop up. Maybe I might only achieve a handful of them. But like I said, with me setting goals, having these things in my mind, again, writing them down, so journaling is going to be a big part of this, and making sure that I'm consistently focused on it. But also sharing with you will hold me more accountable, but also hopefully help with motivation to achieve them. So hopefully by going through this with you today, being a bit vulnerable, talking about struggles, but also things that I'm looking forward to this year, will motivate or inspire some people to set some goals, ideally, and hopefully share them with others. And if you do listen to this and you want to share some goals, I'm more than happy to hear them. It would be great if you can share them with me. I'm really, really excited about that. So again, no pressure from my side, but if you've listened to this and you feel, right, actually, I'm going to sit down and focus on things that I want to achieve this year, how I'm going to achieve them. And I think Louis would really appreciate it. I definitely would if you shared them with me. So thank you very much for listening, and I shall catch you on the next episode.
So there you have it. Thank you very much for listening to today's episode of the Balanced Approach podcast. If you have any questions, queries, or would like to reach out to me, please do. I am at Louis Padian Nutrition, which is at LOUISPADIAN Nutrition on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and all other social media platforms. If you're looking for support in achieving your goals and living a healthier, happier, and more balanced life in the process, click the link below and inquire about working with me. Remember to subscribe to the Balanced Approach podcast wherever you're listening for more insightful episodes, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.